Okay, hello everybody. I'm sorry that this is a day late and all that, but I'm gonna be going over what I got in my MTG 2015 pre-release pack. So, the one thing that's kind of interesting is that there was so many people there that my local game store, Sheps Games, sold out, and they were gone with black and green about half an hour before the event even started, because that's about when I got there. But anyway, so this is just going to be some of the things that you'll get, not including like the booster packs, the seeded pack, and your deck and stuff like that. But this is Hunt with Gilly, which is blue, and I didn't do great, but I didn't do the worst either. So it comes with this, telling you the deck archetypes, and that's like in every pre-release pack. But the interesting thing is on the back is Battle with Garuk. It's one of the cool things that comes with it, and this is your Garuk Slayer card. And so he starts off with 20 loyalty. His 0 ability is put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield, which you get 3 of them. And then his +4, target wolf creature gains +1/0 and gains death touch until the end of the turn. His -10, destroy target creature, put loyalty counters on Garuk's Slayer equal to that creature's toughness. And -25, destroy all creatures Garuk the Slayer doesn't control. So, anything besides the wolves. But that's just a little fun game. I never played it, really. Then we get the cool 20-sided die, life counter, and I know it's a bit blurry, but that's his M15. It's kind of really hard etched in there. Not that great, but anyway, so some of the tokens I got were a soldier token. I can't remember quite what for, but I think I actually got it. The beast token for Garuk. Goblin token, I can't remember what for, and the landmine token for a goblin. So, those are just the token pulls I got. Would have been nice if I do something better, but the main 2 colors that I got that were powerful were green and blue. So, I also bought some Jace deck protectors, so I'll get my lands out of the way. And this is about a 50 card deck, my pre-release, so there's our forest. And let's see. Let's go into some of our artifacts. Hatsu. It was really popular. Tyrant's Machine, I didn't see very much of. Ornithopter, by far the most underrated card in this set, because it's a 0 cost for 0/2 with flying. You could use that to easily block a blue deck, per se, for a turn. Or even, there's some cards in a blue deck that make it incredibly overpowered. It's basically a 5/5 for 2. But I'll get into that later. And then I got this with my seeded pack, Juggernaut, a 5/3 that has to attack each turn if able to, and will forge Golem. So those are just my artifacts. Nothing really that special, except I never really played Willforged Golem or Tyrant's Machine. I played Juggernaut almost every game. Ornithopter I played twice. Hot Soup I played 3 times after I decided to add it in. So, Mercurial Pretender, the promo card, which is a shapeshifter for 5, which isn't that bad, but it's not that great either. Void Snare, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, so a good removal spell. I made a mistake of using that to remove, 1 second. And Crust, another really popular card that enchant artifact or creature. It's like pacifism. Well, it is pacifism in blue. And I used it on my opponent's Encrust instead of Juggernaut because we only had about 5 minutes left. So I was feeling really rushed. Turn a frog. Turn a creature to a 1/1 blue frog. Chief Engineer gives artifacts Convoke if they don't already have it. Useful for Juggernaut. Wolfforge Golem already has it, so. Invisibility, target creature can't be blocked, or enchanted creature can't be blocked except by walls. Use that on Juggernaut, he becomes a complete invincible. So, some more lands. I'll just scoop all these up. There's about 10 per each. And then we have Dissipate, counter target spell. And you exile it. A few more forests. Elfish Mystic. Tap to add a green mana. This is a really popular card in elf decks, mono green decks. Basically any kind of green deck. It's really popular. Divination, that's an old card. Draw 2. And then we're gonna get into, there's one card missing from this deck, and that's because I traded it to get something that I'll show you later. But I drew a Sliver Hive, which is add a mana to your pool, or add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana on only to cast Sliver spells. So that's pretty powerful. And then you can also put a 1/1 colorless Sliver as long as you have a Sliver on the field. Negate, counter target non-creature spell. Verdant Haven, I have 3 of these. And it's that you enchant a land, and when you do, you gain 2 life, and plus, you can tap it once for that land's color. I used it on Sliver Hive mainly with one of them. If I played it, or on my other card, Radiant Fountain, gain 2 life when you play it. And so that way I could tap it for any color, but I didn't realize you could tap it. I could have tapped it for a colorless as well, making it incredibly easy to play another one. But anyway, here's the other 2. Verdant Haven, and that's a really powerful green common. If you're running green, you really do want this. Welcome Turn, just a 2/1 with flying, not really that good, unless you can get quite a few of them. Paragon of Gathering Mist has flying if you can, or no, that's other blue creatures you control get +1/1, and another target blue creature you control gains flying until end of turn for 1 blue and tapping him. And this was a card I played every single game. Nisa's Expedition, which has Convoke, which makes it a lot easier considering how it's a 4 colorless 1 green. And it search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library. This just puts you at a huge advantage if you're running a really high cost deck, which a few cards in here are, about 6 or 7 mana. So there's that, or always having that extra mana for a counter spell, stuff like that. Aeronaut Tinkerer, and Aeronaut Tinkerer has flying as long as you control an artifact. So that's a card that almost constantly had flying with my deck because I'd constantly draw artifacts. So then there's 2 Capasho Kite Fins, which has flying, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you tap target creature and opponent controls. So that's just really powerful to me, to be able to tap a card and then block. So this is a card that goes with Ornithopter really well. I'll pull it out, put it on top. But it's Ensoul Artifact, which is for 2 mana. Enchant Artifact. Enchanted Artifact is a creature its base power and toughness of 5/5 in addition to its other types. So, you've got a 5/5 with flying right there in turn 2. That is literally one of the most powerful things I can think of that you could possibly do. Hornet's Nest, I drew this in my first pack, and I played it. It stopped people from attacking with anything but flying and intimidate. Which I saw maybe one game with intimidate. That was it. And then 2 more of those. Living Totem, this is a card I generally played with Hornet's Nest, because I could make Hornet's Nest a 3/1 or a 1/3, because it has Convoke, which is a nice thing, but when it enters the battlefield, you may put a 1/1 counter on another target creature, and that 1/1 counter is permanent. So here's another common I have multiple of, and that's Shaman of Spring. And when Shaman of Spring enters the battlefield, I draw a card. So we've got a bit more lands here, 3 more forests, and the next card is Frostlings. And when Frostlings enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, and that creature doesn't untap until its controller's next untap step, which is pretty good for maybe, say, tapping Juggernaut, stuff like that. Okay, we have 2 more islands, and that looks like all of our lands. And we have Fugitive Wizard, which is a 1/1 for 1, which is a pretty good first turn play, especially if you can try and get Ornithopter into play as well, stuff like that. But it didn't see a lot of play in my deck because I didn't really want to, per se, have it in my deck, but it was just a nice addition in case I needed to get a creature on the field pretty quick. And this is one that saved my life so much from red decks and other blue decks. Blue was the 3rd most common. It was black. I played against 2 people with black. I played against a person with green. I played against a person with blue. And so that was that, and Netcaster Spider saved my life against the blue, black, and the green deck, sort of. Not a whole lot. But because whenever Netcaster Spider blocks a creature with flying, Netcaster Spider gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and it has reach. So that's a 4/3 blocking your flyer. You really want that. So anyway, that's my MTG 2015 pre-release deck. So there's nothing really more so with that, other than some notable pulls were Hornet's Nest, Nisa's Expedition, not going with Mercurial Pretender, because that's a card that you get no matter what, Chief Engineer, Aeronaut Tinkerer, and Soul Artifact, Juggernaut, Hot Soup, Sliverhive, and Radiant Fountain. Those are just the notable pulls that I would like to feature, because those were some game changers and some lifesavers. So now to go into my trade binder and view all of what I got. So let's find the 2015 page for black. Here it is. So the black cards I drew were or actually, is there anything on the front? Yeah, thought so. I drew 2 Zoth Shades, a Rot Feaster Magnet, Eternal Thirst, Flesh to Dust, Child of Night, Necrobite, Typhoid Rats, which surprised me because I'll go into here, I believe. No, I must have it in a deck, but I have the conspiracy version of it, which was literally just released with the exact same art and everything. Mind Rot and Black Cat. So, not really that much. It's great. And then Crippling Blight, Wall of Limbs, Create, 2 Cruel Satis, a Foil Swamp, and Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, which used to be a banned card in Standard and Modern, and even Legacy, I believe, because it was so overpowered that they put into a From the Vault set. So that just kind of tells you something about it. And then I traded for Gravedigger, which is a repeat card several times over. Okay, the green cards I had that I didn't include. My main sideboard card was Plummet, 2 Invasive Species, Satyr Wayfinder, Ranger's Gilly, Reclamation Sage, and a Forest. And then I traded another sliver for Paragon of Eternal Wilds. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1. And this was after the actual games, because that would have definitely been main deck. That is just a main deck card for anything involving green. Okay, so on to the red cards I drew were a Foil Forge Devil, Torch Fiend, Miner's Bane, Crowd's Favor, Clear a Path, Wall of Fire, Blast Firebolt, Rummaging Goblin, and Lightning Strike, as well as another Clear Path. I guess I didn't notice that and put them in the same slot. Scrapyard Mongrel, Stoke the Flames, Circle of Flame, Frenzied Goblin, Bite Makes Right, which I lost the game because of it. Almost, except for the fact that I still had Juggernaut on the field. That was the only thing keeping me alive. So, on to blue. I didn't draw really that much that isn't in my deck, besides a Research Assistant and 2 of the lands. Those were the... Oh, I guess I also drew a Glacial Crasher. I don't know why that's before Conspiracy. Yeah, I'll fix that later. But some cards I'll probably trade this Friday to some people to hopefully get some better things. Because I know there's someone looking to build I think a 5-color sliver deck. Are Hive Strings and Sentinel Sliver, as well as probably my Sliver Hive. So, okay, here we are. For white, I got Soulmender, Orzhok Swiftclaw, which, if you can see, I got over here, and during to mix as well. Midnight Guard, I got 3 of them. Sanctified Charge, Infernal Shields, Triplicate Spirits, and Oppressive Rays. And that was it for what I've gotten during my pre-release. Hopefully you guys fared better at yours than I did. And I will be also, more than likely I won't be here, but I will be at my local game store, which is Sheps Games. If you live in Aurora, Colorado, definitely check them out. And this doesn't get me anything, but let him know that I sent you. Just to help out. And Friday Night Magic is this Friday at 6. And there is open gaming almost all the week, except Monday, Tuesday, and Sunday. And he does sell booster packs, even booster packs of Conspiracy. So if you want to, check him out online and send him an email. See how well that goes and what time you can be there. He's also hosting a draft on August 1st for M15, and I will be there if you want to go. That would be really fun. So, have a good day.